Ex-wife, 39 female, wants me, 39 male, a year after we split. Last summer, after many years of drifting apart, my wife and I decided to call it quits on our 15-year marriage. We had been merely roommates in a dead bedroom arrangement for the preceding 3 years, with little passion or intimacy. We were both relieved when she pulled the trigger, and I did all I could to keep it from happening. After years of trying to fix things and hoping for the best, it was truly a pleasure to be able to let go. She never tried, she never wavered in her convictions, and she never went to a therapy. This was something she stated again and over again: this is meant to be straightforward. It shouldn't be too challenging. I stayed in the house for 5 or 6 months in a separate room until I regained my composure and sanity. I presently live close in our little town and have joint custody of our children with my husband. 9 and 11 I believed we were making progress and that we would have a pleasant relationship for the benefit of the children. But she found out I was dating again a few months ago, and the rest of my life has been a living nightmare since then. She had a thing for the girl I was dating at the time. It was implied that I was cheating on her before we ended up breaking up. Not true. She's gotten herself into a tizzy because I'm ready to date again and she isn't, and she's just doing herself more harm by worrying about it. She reached out to me in tears the previous night, telling me she loved me and that she expected we would easily get back together. As they say in the movies, if something is meant to be, it will happen. This is something I would have appreciated if she'd said it a year ago, but she's been causing herself and me a great deal of misery for the last year. For 6 months before I moved out, she ignored me in the same house, accusing me of hooking up with females while I was struggling with my mental health issues. Even if I reject her efforts, she has said that she would move in order to be closer to her family and friends, which I can't blame her for, and she will take the children with her. I'm not sure I want to go back to that place. I've been unhappy for the last many years while I've attempted to keep things under control. The tiny bit of dating I've done while I've been alone has shown me that there's a lot more to life than I had previously realized. However, it also implies that my children will not have a typical upbringing. Story 2. Just filed for divorce on WW in affair fog, scared. I can't believe I've reached this stage in my marriage. I would never have thought this would happen a month ago. Our marriage had been wonderful up until this point. We never left one another's sides, we had incredible, we went on dates every weekend, and we always had each other's backs no matter what. I've done all in my ability to ensure she's had a wonderful existence. My wife began an emotional affair with a guy she met at the gym after knowing him for approximately 2 months. Fun fact, I'd also want to mention that this man has 3 distinct gym memberships for various clubs. Despite being confronted about it, she refused to quit seeing him. She claims she's in love with him, and they exchanged flirtatious messages and nudes. She abruptly declares that she hasn't loved me in a long time and that AP makes me feel like a woman, but the love looked genuine until this person entered the scene. She's become a totally different person since meeting this guy, cold, bitter, and uninterested in me. After performing the Choose Me dance for 2 weeks, I finally confessed my love for her and concluded, it's him or me. I'm not sure what I want, she said. I stormed out of the home, told my parents and in-laws about her, and phoned AP's GF. WW became enraged and yelled at me, I'm a wimp for informing our families. When she found out I had informed AP's GF, she went insane, shouting, shoving me, and throwing stuff. She then began telling me that we are done and we have no hope. The affair is still ongoing. WW and AP faked to quit seeing one other in order to get AP's GF off his back. Why won't WW abandon his GF if he and AP are so in love? Since then, I've put the 180 into action. I've also discovered texts from WW and AP discussing what their baby could look like, going on public dates, and the affair becoming physical. I felt it was time to call it quits and filed for divorce. In around 10 days, she will be blindsided by paperwork. She'd probably never expect me to do this, which is a good thing. I need to demonstrate to her that I am serious and that I am not her backup plan. On the day she's sentenced, I intend to go nuclear, informing our families about everything she's been up to lately with AP, providing proof of continuing affair and physicality of affair to AP's GF, terminating her gym membership, separating my money from our joint account, and forcing her to leave the house. I'm terrified of her being served and doing all of these things, but I know it's necessary if I'm going to be able to remove the fog. My hope is that unleashing an atomic bomb on my marriage would rescue it, but I'm prepared for the worst. Spouses must separate for 6 months in my state before a divorce may be completed. If she doesn't come back for me in that time and make the adjustments I need from her, I realize there's nothing I can do. It'll be difficult if that's the consequence, but I'll be okay and become stronger as a result of it. Update: when I wrote this piece about a month and a half ago, I believed I was done with the choose me dance, but looking back, I clearly wasn't. I imagined that having her served would finally wake her up, but that was not the case. She felt relieved by the divorce. As I said in my previous article, in my state, after the first filing, the couple must be separated for 6 months before the processes may commence. To avoid ruffling any feathers, I opted not to go entirely nuclear. Let me tell you, listen to those on this sub who encourage you to divorce while WS is in a fair fog because you'll get a better bargain. She gave me our home, our dog, and pretty much everything else I desired. She also consented to sign a court order barring her from suing me for spousal support. She relocated today. It was certainly the most bittersweet experience I've ever had. On the one hand, living with her for the last 2 months had been extremely horrible. On the other hand, it seems like a significant chapter in my life is coming to an end. I sobbed very hard as she walked out, but I know it's all for the best. Her and AP are still chatting and flirting, and he still has his GF. WW is as naive as hell and is still neck deep in fog. I'm still astounded at how adultery alters a person's whole demeanor. My wife and I had been married for 10 years, and she was unquestionably my closest friend. We had a lot of ideas for the future. She could hardly stand me once AP entered the picture. She despised me and couldn't tolerate being around me for the previous 2 months of living together, and I was way you'd believe it was me who cheated. I'm coming to grips with the possibility that she was a concealed narcissist. I was a broken mess when I wrote my first post. I couldn't eat or sleep, and I spent the most of my time laying in bed. In a month and a half, I've come so far. I'm feeling a lot better now. I still lament what was/could have been, but it no longer occupies the bulk of my thoughts. IC has been quite helpful. I've been going to the gym, asking for help from family and friends, and resuming my interests. I've also planned a few new activities that I'm quite keen to attempt. Because she can't legally sue me for spousal support, I concluded that finding a new and higher paying work would be a welcome change of pace for me. I have a couple interviews set up that seem to be quite promising. Also, a huge thank you to everyone who contributes in this sub. Your tales and counsel have been invaluable in my rehabilitation. I realized I'd already gone through the worst of what would be one of the most horrific moments of my life, which gives me a bizarre feeling of confidence and fearlessness I've never had before. This time of separation will be a fresh start for me. I have the freedom to control my life in whatever way I see fit. I've never felt more powerful in my life. I'm not sure what the next 6 months have in store for me, but I know I'll grow into the greatest version of myself throughout it. For any BSs out there battling, no matter how much they gaslight, blame shift, or rewrite history, I experienced all of this till she moved out. Cheating is not your fault, and you are enough. Your WS might have attempted to discuss any relationship concerns with you or just terminated things like an adult. They selected the most insensitive, immature, and cowardly option. WSs are weak persons with major defects in their character. You can get out of this alive, and you can recover in a short period of time. This may be some of the most general advice on this sub, but take it one day at a time and concentrate on yourself. Put up the effort to concentrate on yourself, for example. It is completely effective.